negotiations as a UN member state that brought about the 1951 Convention for Refugees, and to which Egypt is a signatory. UNHCR's office in Egypt is one of the oldest field offices in the world. The office was established here in 1954, and UNHCR has been working here in Egypt with the government for the benefit of refugees ever since. It's through generous policies, the one that we all know of in 2012, allowing Syrian refugees, hundreds of thousands of Syrian refugees, to access the public health system, the public education system, but also the generosity of everyday Egyptian people that have allowed refugees to make their home here in Egypt for the time being. At the same time, although some refugees are able to integrate, others are struggling. And UNHCR, along with UN partners, NGOs, we're all working together to try and assist those who are most vulnerable, those who can't make ends meet, those who need food assistance, who need help to access healthcare and education. We're gathered here today to pay tribute to refugees because at the end of the day, refugees are ordinary people who are finding themselves in extraordinary times. The numbers of refugees worldwide continue to grow. There are now over 50 million persons displaced, 13 million who are under UNHCR's mandate, 3 million refugees from Syria and the region. The numbers are just staggering. But today, we're really looking at individuals. It's the individual stories which bring the truth home to people. And we're asking for support today to the cause of refugees here in Egypt and worldwide. The theme of this year's World Refugee Day is Get Involved and Stand Together. The idea is to build compassion, to reduce the distance between us who are fortunate enough to live in a society where there is peace and prosperity, and to share that with those who are forcibly displaced, those who are struggling to support their families, those who are afraid for the future, who are worried about their children's education, who are not sure what the future will bring for them. There are many different ways in which individuals can contribute towards the cause of refugees. We have lots of members of the media here, many of whom have spent hours interviewing refugees and humanitarian aid workers and others who are concerned with refugees, and put those stories across. It's the individual stories of human nature that most resonate with people. We have people here who are supporting the refugee cause from the private sector, from the government, those who work with UN agencies, with NGOs, all of whom are working with and for refugees. We have public figures. We've just had the pleasure of listening to some wonderful jazz performed by Ahmed Harfouch, who has generously dedicated his evening towards refugees. And we're going to hear more from others to come. It's also those individual acts of kindness and generosity from people on the streets. We've heard UNHCR staff members are always telling me about Egyptians who have really helped Syrians. You know, it's those acts of kindness, if we are able to capture those and inspire others, that we can make a difference. So UNHCR is launching a campaign called Voices for Refugees. There are a lot of UNHCR staff here present who can explain to you how it works. It's a website where individuals can donate money towards refugee programs UNHCR refugee programs here in Egypt and in other countries. I wanted to talk a little bit about one of the very special contributions that we have from a famous Egyptian band called Balad. They have composed a song called Ahla, which we hope they'll be able to perform tonight. They've been working on it, and it will be launched for World Refugee Day. And throughout the region, this is a big event, and we're extremely grateful to Balad, and we look forward to hearing their music later on this evening. There are all
Sorry, I have to wear my glasses. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Dear Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. Last month, the world celebrated the 70th anniversary of the end of the World War II in Europe. A war that led to the loss of lives of almost 50 million people from all over the world. A war that has thrown its ugly shadow on the world up till the present. This war didn't just kill and maim millions of people, but it has turned millions into refugees. Most of these millions had more or less normal lives before the war, but the war left them homeless and displaced. People who never thought that one day they would be refugees. Yes, General Assembly. A 3-year mandate to complete the work and then disband. The following year, on July 28, the United Nations Convention relating the status of refugees, the legal foundation of helping refugees, and the basic statute guiding UNHCR work was adopted. From 1956 onwards, UNHCR was facing major emergencies. And any expectation that the UNHCR would become unnecessary has never resurfaced. In the 1960s, the decolonization of Africa produced the first of that continent's numerous refugee crises, needing UNHCR intervention. Over the following 2 decades, UNHCR had to help with displacement crises in Asia, Latin America, and by the end of the century, there were fresh refugee problems in Africa, and turning full circle, new waves of refugees in Europe from the series of wars in the Balkans. According to recent statistics, Egypt has 267,000 refugees, of which 140,000 are Syrians, people who a few years ago were living again more or less peacefully in their country, and suddenly with eruption of violence, they chose to leave, thinking it will be just a matter. These people on the videos and photos have changed into names and human beings you can talk to. They share with you their dreams, inspirations, hopes, and unfortunately, despair. For me, Judy was an eye-opener to the gravity of the problem. She was maimed from a burn not related to the war, but was mismanaged and needed surgery to restore function. Unfortunately, this is considered plastic surgery, and there are no funds for such patients in the ill-funded UNHCR. The hand of fate always interferes for a good deed. A photo of Judy by the famous photographer Scott Nelson, shown in this exhibition, seen by an American diplomat who is a friend of mine, made her make the phone call with a single question: can you help? Skipping the problem of Judy could be easy, but helping her through surgery can make her life a better life. I saw that doing this operation does not need publicity. I always believed that good deeds should not be publicized, but the fact that doing that will change Judy from just a photo or a piece of news into a human being of flesh and blood, which may help us to feel the agony of our fellow human beings who were not as lucky as us. We should know that this could happen to anyone. Knowing this might help and encourage more people to give a helping hand to reduce their suffering. And for this, I remain optimistic that good will prevail. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. المستشار صلاح عبد الحميد، التنمية السياسية بالاتحاد الأوروبي. يعني احنا النهارده بنرحب بالاحتفال باليوم العالمي للاجئين، ولينا بعض الأسئلة. اليوم العالمي للاجئين لابد فيه الاحتفال بهذا اليوم. ليه؟ لأن بيسلط تسليط الضوء على القوى الداخلية على القوى الداخلية للاجئين، وحث المجتمعات والمنظمات الدولية والمنظمات المجتمع المحلي على التعاون والدعم للاجئين في دول العالم. بنلاقي ان مصر بيلجأ ليها اللجوء الكتير. مصر بتحتضن اللاجئين في كل العصور. العصر الحديث سنة 1915 احتضنت مصر الأرمن بعد المذبحة التركية، بعد المذابح التركية التي حدثت هناك سنة 1915، وجاء اللجوء هذا في العصر الحديث، جاء لجوء الأرمن. بعد اللجوء الأرمن جاءت الحرب الفلسطينية سنة 1948، وبدأ اللجوء الفلسطيني إلى الأراضي المصرية، ورحبت بها وحطت لها أرضية ومناخ كامل للاجئين في هذا الوقت. بعد لجوء الحرب الفلسطينية واللجوء الفلسطيني أتت الطائفة من السودانيين لجوء إلى مصر بسبب الحروب الأهلية سنة 1983. بعد الحروب السودانية جاءت مصر في الحروب الأهلية في أريتريا، في الصومال، في أثيوبيا، في السودان، احتضنت هذه اللجوء. فهذه ليس غريبة على الأراضي المصرية، وليس غريبة على الدولة المصرية أنها تحتضن اللاجئ على دول العالم. ليه؟ لماذا اللجوء إلى الدولة المصرية؟ لأنها فيها الأمن والأمان والاستقرار. كمان أنا عندي مصر تتحرك بالمعايير وتطبق المعايير الدولية لحقوق الإنسان، وتطبق المعايير الدولية للاجئين على مستوى العالم. مصر بتتحرك وطبقت على الصعيد الدولي وعلى الصعيد الإقليمي وعلى الصعيد المحلي بالنسبة للاجئين. على الصعيد الدولي وقعت اتفاقيات على الاتفاقات الدولية والمعاهدات الدولية للامم المتحدة، متضامنا مع اتفاقية الطفل في جنيف سنة 2000، وطبقت اتفاقية اللاجئين سنة 2001 للأممية. ده على الصعيد الدولي. أما على الصعيد الإقليمي فهي وقعت ميثاق واتفاقية مع المجلس أو الاتحاد الأفريقي سنة 1969 لتضامن حقوق اللاجئين على أرضها. على مستوى المحلي بنلاقي أن الدولة المصرية معظم الدساتير التي وضعت في الدولة المصرية كان نصيب اللاجئين له حق كبير في هذه الدساتير. دستور 1923، دستور 30، دستور 71، دستور 2012 اللي هو اتلغى، وجاء دستور 2014 وحط المادة 57 بتمتع حق اللجوء السياسي على الأراضي المصرية. هذا على مستوى العالم. لماذا مصر؟ فهي دي توصيات اللي احنا بنحتفل بيها إن شاء الله.
مروة هاشم، المسؤول الإعلامي لدى المفوضية السامية لشؤون اللاجئين بمصر. احنا النهارده بنحتفل بيوم اللاجئ العالمي حوالي 6 أيام بدري عن ميعاده. هو ميعاده الرسمي 20 من يونيو، بس لظروف رمضان قدمناه في الاحتفال في مصر. بنحتفل النهارده بصمود اللاجئين والظروف الصعبة التي يمروا بها والظروف التي أدت إلى أن هم ينزحوا من بلادهم ويلجأوا إلى بلاد أخرى. في مصر حوالي 185 ألف لاجئ مسجل لدى المفوضية السامية، وهناك إحصائيات تذكر أن هناك لاجئين ولكن لا من جنسيات أخرى موجودين بمصر، ولكن ليسوا في حاجة إلى التسجيل لدى المفوضية. احنا النهاردة عايزين نتذكر ونقول للناس بالعربي العادي جدا، احنا أي حد ممكن يمر بالظروف دي. نرجو من الناس مساعدة اللاجئين. احنا بنرجو من الناس أن يتعاطفوا مع اللاجئين، لأن اللاجئين دول ممكن يكونوا زيي وزيك، دكتور، مهندس، شاعر، طفل، كلهم بيمروا بظروف صعبة، وكلنا ممكن نمر بهذه الظروف الصعبة في وقت ما. طبعا إن شاء الله لأ، بس فاذكروا اللاجئين دايما للمستقبل.
ايه اللي ستقوم به المنظمة تجاه اللاجئين فترة مؤقتة؟
المفوضية عامة أهم حاجة بتقدمها للاجئين هي الحماية الدولية، الحماية من الرد والطرد. بنقدم للاجئين المساعدة المالية، ونقدم للاجئين المساعدة الصحية والخدمات الصحية، الخدمات التعليمية والمعونة التعليمية. ولكن كل هذه الخدمات للأكثر احتياجا في مصر، لأن العالم كله وكل المنظمات الإنسانية بتمر بأزمة تمويل مع ازدياد أعداد اللاجئين في العالم، وازدياد بالذات أعداد اللاجئين في الوطن العربي.
أخيرا يا فندم إيه الرسالة للمؤتمر النهارده؟
صمود اللاجئين، وإن احنا بنذكر الناس بظروف الصعبة التي يمر بها اللاجئين.
World famous jazz musician Ahmed Harfoush. Well, he will be playing a beautiful set of jazz pieces for you this evening. Following that, we'll be listening to a speech by the representative Elizabeth Tan. And after that, we will be listening to a word from Dr. Amr Mabrouk, who has a special place in UNHCR's heart, but I will not be sharing more than that. He'll be happy to share that with you. Following that, we'll be listening to some more music by the famous Egyptian soft rock band Wust Al Balad. I hope you enjoy this evening. Thank you.
لسه فاكر عمي مينا بتاع زمان، المقدس اللي كان بيفوت علينا بالأمان. لسه فاكر عمي مينا بتاع زمان، المقدس اللي كان بيفوت علينا بالأمان. جيبه مليان بالحلاوة والمجد، وعيونه مالية الكون حنان. جيبه مليان بالحلاوة والمجد، وعيونه مالية الكون حنان. عمي مينا لسه فاكر عمي مينا بتاع زمان، المقدس اللي كان بيفوت علينا بالأمان. الجميل